Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So we will be talking about labor demand for compensation administration. For the objectives of this lecture, um, number one, we have to identify the meaning and effect of labor demand to the compensation administration process. So we also need to determine the labor demand theories and implications. We'll be talking about a number of theories for us to use or we will be able to use later on. So number three is to understand the labor supplies theories and implications. Okay. So in here we have theories, their predictions and implications. So labor demand theories, we have number one, compensation differentials. So pag sinabi nating compensation differentials, ang prediction nito is the people who have negative characteristics sa work nila. For example, nito yung mga security guards, mga police, soldiers, kasi um, yung mga nagtatrabaho ng may risk sa health nila or sa lives nila, it has negative characteristics. In this theory, sa compensation differentials, dapat daw merong differential sa pay ng mga empleyado or ng mga job offer natin when it comes to positions na merong negative characteristics. Okay, so it requires higher pay to attract workers. Bakit natin kailangan bigyan sila ng higher pay? Okay, kasi oo nga naman, if we give same amount of compensation for those people who has high risk when they are working these jobs. For example, yung mga sundalo, police, 'di ba? Yung risk na pwede silang ma-injure or pwede silang mamatay for that matter or pwede silang magkasakit sa kanilang trabaho. It's something that people will least hindi nila pipiliin, 'di ba? Kung meron pa namang mas okay or mas better or mas safe na job, why not doon na lang sila? So, those positions requires higher pay. Okay. And we use it as HR, as recruiters, to attract more applicants, to attract workers. Kasi nga, otherwise, no one will apply or we cannot get anyone to do it for us. Okay, so the implication nito is job evaluation must collect and compensable factors must capture these negative characteristics. Okay. Ayan. Um, ayan. So, sorry for this one, iburay lang natin yan. So, yun yung number one natin na theory. So, compensation differentials. When we say differentials, there is a differential when it comes to pay grade nila sa kanilang mga benefits. So, iba-iba naman yan kada company. Okay, so number two is we have the efficiency wage. So above market wages will improve efficiency. Okay, when we say above market wages, ibig sabihin yung normal range ng pay or ng compensation sa position na yan, kumbaga yung norm sa pay grade ng mga ng other companies. So above market wages will improve efficiency. For example, ako si teacher ng isang private institution, tapos maraming pang private institution dito sa Palawan. When I get paid more than those people who has the same position as I am, as I have pala, doon, mas, kumbaga, merong something in us na, ay, masaya ako dito, mas okay ako dito. And then, the more relaxed they are, they work more efficiently. Okay? So, meron nga tayong kasabihan, di ba, sa Philippines, meron tayong nauuso sa mga nagtatrabaho na that we just we work na naayon sa sahod natin. So, the more people get paid, the more they think or they feel that they need to do more or they work more efficiently. Diba? Kung mababa ang sahod ko, 7,000, so mag-work lang ako ng same amount na natatanggap ko. So, above market wages daw will help us to encourage our employees to perform better, okay, and be less willing to leave. Okay, that is more important. So the lower our turnover every year, um, the better for us HRs. Okay, so implications nito is staffing programs must have the capability of selecting the best employees. Okay, so work must be structured to take advantage of employees' greater efforts. So when you offer above market wages, you also need to know how to staff or yung staffing program natin. Ibig sabihin kung paano natin planuhin kung saan natin ilalagay. When we say, di ba, staffing, we we plan on sino ilalagay natin dito, who are we going to promote, which people should be in this unit, okay, sino-sino yung pwede natin pagsamahin, that we think that they will be working together na in harmony. Sino yung mga hindi natin pwedeng pagsamahin kasi baka magulat tayo, nagsabunutan na sila sa opisina, nagkagulo na sila, or ganyan. So, yan daw ay kailangan din nating pag-aralan. Okay? So, should be structured yung planning natin when it comes to staff. And so, number 3 is signaling. Sorry. Signaling. So, prediction for this theory is pay policies signal the kinds of behavior the employer seeks. Okay, so when we say pay policies, marami tayong iba't ibang pay policy, depende sa ating mga company. So, it signals the kinds of a behavior the employer seeks. So, for example, sorry, wait lang. For example, when you say San Miguel Corporation, okay, o kaya, ano ba yung mga malalaking company matataas magpasahod. Those companies na malalaki sila magpasahod, you can expect that yung culture or yung mga empleyado na nandito, na meron doon ay mga sophisticated, mga professionals talaga sila, etc. So, you can you can signal na it gives signals to those applicants. Ay gosh, yung kanilang HR generalist, yung sahod pang pang HR manager na nang dito sa amin sa probinsya. So you can already predict, or you can already they can already assume that these people, when we enter this company, talagang sila, very professional kasi yung pay grade pa lang nila ang taas na kaagad. So most likely it goes within the culture na meron sila sa company, di ba? So nakakita ka na ba ng yung mga sahod nila ay puro 100,000, 50,000 per month, yung minimum. Tapos nakita mo ba sila doon nagmi-milk tea, tumatambay, okay? So, nag-jeep, okay? Mga ganun. Ang karamihan ng mga empleyado dito, nakakotse na, etc. So, you can signal something just by letting them know how much sorry, nauutal ako. You can signal something dun pa lang sa pagpapakita mo sa kanila sa compensation planning or sa compensation na ino-offer mo sa mga empleyado mo. Okay, so implications for this one is pay practices must be recognized. Mali ito. Pay practices must recognize these behaviors by better pay, larger bonuses, and other forms of compensation. Okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, next one. Reservation wage. So when it comes to reservation wage naman, job seekers won't accept jobs whose pay is below a certain wage. Okay, no matter how attractive other job aspects. Okay, so reservation wage is sometimes we can predict that they will not accept the job because it is below a certain wage. For example, below siya sa market wage natin. Okay? So, engineer siya, tapos maganda naman yung yung job title, manager, etc. Pero yung pay niya ay mababa. Okay, for example, ano ba? Crew ka sa isang fast food chain, sikat na fast food chain. Tapos sabihin sa'yo, ano yung position mo? Manager na ako or senior manager. So, uy, ang ganda ng ano, no? Ang ganda ng um, job title. Pero how much is the salary? So nowadays, people look at how much they get paid. Okay, no matter how attractive other jobs, no matter how 3 days lang kami dito or 4 days lang kami dito, pero yung trabaho doon sa kabilang company, kahit 5 days or 6 days, doble naman yung natatanggap nila. So sometimes they much prefer the one that gives more compensation. Okay. Um, Okay, coming back. So, theory number 5. For a while lang. Saglit. Okay, going back again. So, when we say human capital naman, the value of an individual's skills and abilities is a function of the time and expense required to acquire them. So, the value of an individual's skills and abilities is a function of the time and expense required to acquire them. So, in human capital naman, doesn't matter if you are new, if you are wait a minute for a while. Okay, I'm back again for the fourth time. So the value of an individual skills and abilities is a function of the time and expense required to acquire them. So in human capital, we we focus more on the value of an individual. For example, he or she is coming from another institution or another company, baguhan lang siya dito, but we still pay them or him or her 80,000 or bigger one. Kasi we look at their skills and abilities. Okay, and um, the time they what call this, the time na ginugol nila para matutunan or ma-acquire yung mga abilities na meron sila. Compared to those people who are already 10 years with us, pero mababa pa rin yung offer natin compensation sa kanila because they do not have the skills and abilities. Okay, hindi natin siya ang sa human capital theory, we focus more on kung ano yung kaya nilang maibigay or madala or may tulong sa company na meron tayo. Okay, so implications of this one is higher pay is required to induce people to train for more jobs. Okay, number 3 and number 6, okay, job competition. Workers compete through qualifications for job with established wages. So this one is we encourage people to compete. Okay, so but this one is highly unlikely to be successful in a long run. Ito yung ginagamit lang natin kapag ang goal natin is for short term only. So this is not very healthy for a long period of time kung ito ang gagamitin natin. So job competition, we encourage competition through qualifications for the job and with established wages. Okay, so as hiring difficulties increase, employers should expect to spend more to train new hires. So, yeah. Kapag naman ito ay about hiring, yung wala pa sila sa company natin, we look for people who has good qualifications. Okay, yung kumbaga ginagawa natin yung competition talaga sa kanila. O pataasan kayo ng career education or maramihan kayo ng license and etc. Paramihan kayo ng inyong experiences and something like that. So the ones who got the highest points, yun yung makukuha sa trabaho. So there are some consequences of pay level. So number one is it increase pool of qualified. Ano ba to? Mali. Let me ano. It increased the pool of qualified applicants. So this is um, a good one that it increases the pool of qualified applicants, but a this makes our job a little harder than it should be. Kasi kapag marami masyado yung qualified applicants, it will be hard for us to choose one, tama? Pero it is also a good news to us kasi we have reached people whom we need. Okay? Yung target applicants natin talagang na-reach natin sila. So number 2, increased quality and experience. So this is also a good news for us because the more quality and more experience we are exposed to, it is much better. Okay, so number 3, reduce voluntary turnover. And number 4, increase probability of union free status. Next. Ayan. So we have a diagram here. So this one is labor market in macroeconomic theory. So in here, as you can see, there is a supply and demand of labor. So wage growth lagging productivity growth wage growth lagging productivity growth indicates that the supply of labor has outpaced demand according to macroeconomic theory. Okay, there's downward pressure. You can see here downward pressure on saan yung aking ballpen? And so there is a downward pressure on wages when this happens as workers compete for a scarce number of jobs and employers have their pick of the labor force. For example, in here, so labor amount dito, nakikita natin. So labor amount, ito yung dami o yung quantity or yes, dami ng trabaho. This one is the wage rate. For example, in here, the more job you do, okay, the more labor you produce, the higher, pataas siya ng pataas yung wage. Tama ba? Yan. So, ito yung supply ng labor. So, the demand in here, pababa siya. Okay, pa-increase ng X ng dalawa. So, for a while. Okay, going back. So there's an upward pressure naman on wages if demand outpaces supply because workers have more bargaining power. So workers have more bargaining power. Bakit naman sila merong support sa Alport's 5 forces, 'di ba? Merong bargaining power. I think that is the theory. Okay. Merong bargaining power yung mga workers. Bakit? Kasi without them, the company operations can go on a strike, di ba? Hindi siya, or they can stop yung operation because there are no people nagagawa nito para sa atin. So they have the upper hand. Meron silang advantage. Okay? So, and are more likely to be able to switch to higher paying jobs. Okay, employers must compete for scarce labor. Okay, so employers has um to do their best na hindi sila mawala ng trabahante or ng empleyado kasi nga um, their company operation is depending on their employees. Kaya nga yung HR profession, di ba, tayo daw ay yung backbone ng operations kasi without the people working for us, wala rin operation. So, walang i-finance, walang i-market kasi walang product or wala rin pumapasok na pera sa kumpanya. Next one, this one is for the microeconomic theory naman. So, microeconomic theory analyzes labor supply and demand at the level of the individual firm and workers. Supply or the hours an employee is willing to work initially increases as wages increase. No workers will work voluntarily for nothing. So if you can see here, so the higher the wage, okay, pataas na pataas yung trabaho, yung sahod, okay, the more na dumadami yung hours na willing tayong magtrabaho. Tama? So, pero makikita niyo dito nagkaroon ng labor supply curve. Ibig sabihin nun, di ba pag tumaas na ng, for example, dito you are a salesperson and then promote ka na sa something, pataas ng pataas na yung sahod mo, parami yung trabaho mo, okay, the hours that you work for. And then, nagkakaroon ng curve. Bakit nagkakaroon ng curve? Kasi when you are in a managerial position already, nagkakaroon ka na ng ng mga tao na katulong mo, kasamahan mo to do the job. Okay, meron ka ng sariling team, you are supervising na lang, okay, you're not doing the manual work anymore like in here. So, yan, kaya nagkakaroon ng curve dito sa ibaba. Okay, pero as you can see, the wage rate here ay mataas pa din, di ba? Kesa dito sa meron kang longer hours. Okay. Sorry. Next one. Hindi mag-next yung aking laptop. Ayan. Computer laptop. Yun na. Okay, so I think that's all for the labor demand. If you have questions, just comment. And that's all. Thank you.